Hi, welcome to the podcast. Back with your three favourite people again. We're back to normal again.
Yes, I am back.
Had his little hiatus. He's returned. It's been a rough week for him because he's got coronavirus in it. So
it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that
bad. No, only joking. But we're back and I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. That Leeds game was sick. Honestly, I knew when we play Leeds, I know Leeds just have good football. The reverse fixture was dead. It was a 0-0 draw. But even then, they still sent for us. And when we were 4-0 up, oh my God, I was buzzing. Aubameyang getting his first ever Premier League hat-trick.
Is it actually?
His first ever Arsenal hat-trick. Yeah, it's his first ever.
Jeez.
His first ever Arsenal hat-trick. And it was sick. It was class. His finishing was good. His first goal where he just kind of cut inside, did off Ayling and just tapped it in, just easy.
Yeah, it was a nice goal.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And, I don't want to say he's back, but he looks like he's, in that game at least, he looked like he was at, his best last season, the season before, when he was getting golden boots. And I hope he continues with it. Odegaard also played. Odegaard did really well, but he didn't get an assist. He should have, because Bellerin bottled it.
Yeah.
Bottled an easy finish.
Horrible
I was
touch.
gutted for him. But he was so good. Smith Rowe I think he got 2. And even though he was playing on the left, he still killed it. His assist for Aubameyang's hat-trick was sublime. Oh my days, what a whipping. And Aubameyang just getting in there, leaping like a salmon.
The thing is though, Aubameyang has been playing on the left for you recently, hasn't he? You play him up top and he gets a hat-trick.
Yeah, I know. It's the thing, because we've done it before. We tried to play up front and it hasn't worked out. But I think what it was is that he didn't have the right people behind him to just feed. You know what I mean? Now he's got Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and Saka, our 3 best creators. Maybe I think Pepe's maybe second or third, but one of the 3 out of the 4 best creators behind him, just to feed it, just give it to him, just be like, yo, bro, I got you. Here's the ball, go for it, finish. And Aubameyang's just saluting and just tapping it in. Do you know what I mean? This is good.
There was a lot of shambolic goalkeeping from, is it Meslier? Is Meslier?
Yeah. Meslier. To be fair though, that Don is 19. The guy is the same age as us. He's 19.
No, he's 20. Is he 19 or 20?
He's young.
They said
it's very young.
He's
under
young.
21s.
Anyway.
Under 21s. But
yeah. He's not their main goalkeeper.
But from what I've seen and the saves that he's been making in the Premier League this season, he was not up to his best today.
No, he's had some really good games before.
But yeah, 100%. There was the Bellerin goal. He should have saved that one. That was
on his near post. That was disappointing. But what can you do with Bellerin? He's just too good.
I mean, if you look at the 2 big mistakes, say mistakes, he should have saved the Bellerin one, and he shouldn't have given away the penalty. That puts the game at 2-2.
Yeah, it's risky.
Yeah,
but we should have had a penalty before that, which I think was rough to be taken off of Saka.
I don't think it was a penalty.
To be honest,
I don't think it was a penalty. The second one definitely was.
You're always gonna say that, aren't you? Because you don't like my club. Even though
but it's the same with you. You're always gonna say it's a penalty.
You don't want to admit that London is red, and you're just gonna say, I don't think the penalty.
It's a sticky one. That one is though, isn't it?
Wasn't a pen.
Because it's not. It's blue.
Then you have a dead team with an Arsenal fan. Just doesn't work, does it? But either way, we won the game. I was shook when they scored the second one, and they should have scored 3 at least in the second half. They really could have equalised in about 20 minutes if our defence was on point and Leno wasn't so good.
You could have put it to bed as well. He hit the woodwork twice.
Oh yeah. Could have.
Last few minutes.
Saka was offside in the end, but he could have put it away, and then William would have finally got an assist for the first time in 20 games. Which is ridiculous.
That whole incident was almost a big thing of the linesman not flagging early enough, because there was a challenge in the box that Rafinha, if that challenge was a little bit worse, that could have been studs up straight into Rafinha's ankle. That's a big injury just because the linesman didn't put his flag up. I mean,
that's the thing that's worrying about VAR, isn't it? Because you've got the linesman just thinks it doesn't matter because VAR will tell me if I'm right or wrong or not, so I don't need to do it. When they do have a job to do.
Well, they are told to wait because what if the player goes through on goal and then they flag and the play stops, but it turns out they're onside. They're supposed to wait until the play's over before they flag.
See, I think it should be that they flag and then the players can decide to play on and the referee allows it to play on.
Yeah, play the whistle in.
And then if they score, then you go back to it. But then after the shot's been taken, all the players will stop at that point, if that makes sense. Because they'll and at that point you've already had your opportunity to score if you're onside. I just don't agree.
Yeah,
with
I mean that was the thing with.
playing.
Do you remember the West Ham game? I think last year, like this season, but last year, when Watkins was flagged offside, but he was actually onside, and then they gave a penalty. And like they stopped playing, and it was a whole fiasco because there's like no communication, I guess, and there's no sort of knowledge of what to do. Where like if he's not offside, then give the penalty. I think there's some real problems that like it's another problem with VAR. Honestly, who is it? I can't remember who was in the VAR thing today, but that's the same Don who got mixed up with Kieran Gibson Theo Walcott like 10 years ago, which was so funny and clearly shouldn't be a ref if you still can't tell the difference between two players. It's shocking. They have numbers on the back of their head back for some reason.
I mean, go to Sunday League reffing. The linesman's there to almost give advice to the referee. It's not a direct, if I put my flag up, I'm going to agree with you all the time. It's kind of, I put my flag up, this is advising you that it's offside. If you want to carry on the play as a referee, you play it on. So
it doesn't matter though. We won the game. I can't complain too much with a win.
Yeah.
We basically outscored Leeds, which was fun. It was a really good game to watch, and I hope that it continues. We seem to be we've only had 2 games like as a lull, so hopefully we'll just pick it back up. We've got the North London derby soon.
Yeah, I think Leeds are like they're either the best team to play when you're in a bad run, or they're the worst team to play when you're in a bad run because they, depending which Leeds turns up, either you can batter them or they will batter you.
Or they'll batter you.
So, like if you're in a thankfully for you, you got in a little bit of bad run of form. And you came up against the Leeds, who, for the most part of the game, kind of just rolled over. And, Aubameyang getting his confidence back will be really good. I wonder if obviously he's had a bit of a break. He's had some time off with personal issues. And I wonder if, having that bit of time off has helped him a bit, clear his head, relax a bit. And
back stronger.
Now he's back, and
I think that's sometimes what you
sharp.
have to do.
His movement was excellent. His finishing was excellent. So maybe this is a return of the last season's Aubameyang.
Prime Aubameyang class is permanent.
You do have to caveat it with Leeds can't defend. So
and one was a penalty.
I felt bad for Ayling. Ayling was by far the best defender in that whole back line, and then even then he wasn't even that good. But everyone else was just terrible. Fullbacks were awful. Everyone was just not tracking our wingers, and I kind of felt bad for them.
Yeah.
To be with Saka, you can't play that kind of high line and expect to just chase him. You're not going to chase him.
It's the man-to-man marking that they employ. It's like against teams like Arsenal, when you have Saka and Aubameyang and Smith Rowe, and we saw it against Man United as well. Like, you can't employ that system against teams with this quality of player and expect to not concede at least 3 or 4 goals, because they're going to get away from their man and they're going to have all the space in the world to do whatever they want.
Is this the downfall of Leeds now? We know
they'll stay. I say in the next season they'll do a madness.
I say downfall. I mean more. We know that Bielsa's clubs and teams that he manages tend to have a bit of a dip at the end of the season because of how hard they've worked. Is it starting to show in the Premier League that they're going to start?
Yeah, maybe. But I think the thing with Leeds last season, when they were in the Championship, like last season and the season before, is that they were playing a lot more games and they just couldn't hack that many games. They were almost like a Premier League team who were in the Championship and weren't fit enough for it. And with the amount of high press that they do and high intense football that they do.
But it's not just Leeds that he's done it in. He's done it in other clubs that are top of their league in that country.
Yeah, I guess Lille. When he was doing it with Lille, I guess they didn't hack it. And in a country like France, where it's not that intense, to be burnt out in France is kind of difficult. So I can understand what you're talking about.
So,
but it's Bielsa. I still rate him as a manager. I just don't know if he's gonna. It's difficult because you can't just expect to get in top 6 or top 8 by outscoring everybody. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. You have to have a good defense as well.
Unless you're Chelsea,
it gets to a point where like it becomes a bit naive. Like I think people when Leeds came up, people were really gassing them up. I think probably had expectations a bit too high. Like they were saying, they're going to finish 7th, 6th. I mean, come on, they're not Wolves. So,
Yeah. Oh, come on.
so
They've replaced you this
statement.
season. You know what I mean?
Have they?
Yes, of course they have.
No, they haven't.
Where are you? Where are you this season?
We're
12.
Where are you?
like a point behind them.
Yeah, but
2 points.
you're not above them.
2 points, and they've got a game in hand. I think.
2 points with a game
Okay.
in hand. That's basically who are they playing? Do you know who their game is?
No, I don't know their
Come
game
on,
is.
stat man.
Either that or
Either way,
it hasn't
it's probably 5.
updated.
It's probably 5. And then obviously, you've been better. I won't lie. Southampton today was a good game. We should probably get onto that because you know when Ings scored that early goal, I thought, they're back in it. Like this is peak.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like Neto, yo, that done. Okay, I was slating this done right, but fair play because he did a madness today.
No, he's a class player. He just hasn't been doing much over recent weeks.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could say that for the whole of the team, really, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. His form
Yeah.
his form dropped off a bit, but like expecting a 20-year-old to carry a whole Premier League team through the terrible form that we've had is definitely expecting too much.
He's no Mason Mount.
He's still okay. He still had good games in that time, and he's still been the guy for the most part who's been making things happen. And he scored an amazing goal today. Absolutely sent Vestergaard. Vestergaard had a very good game up to that point as well, and the finish is just disgusting. But the first half from us was absolutely awful. It was like back to like when we were losing when we lost to Crystal Palace, and our performances about a month ago. But then the second half, bit of a tactical tweak. So credit to Nuno for that. We pressed forward a lot more. We kept possession much better. The passing in the first half was awful, and the second half improved a lot. And we took the front foot, and we won the game. And that now makes us 4 unbeaten in the Prem. Draws with Leicester and Chelsea, wins against Southampton and Arsenal. That's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah.
The win should be 3 unbeaten, really, but
But well, I don't even know what I was going to say. Actually, I've just absolutely bottled that.
nothing important, but either way, I mean, Wolves could be on a comeback trail here. I mean, you are out of contention for Europe. Let's be honest. It's still a possibility with how the league's going. I mean, everyone's losing to everyone. It's not impossible. Come on, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. It's
I
not going
would
to
say
happen.
it is.
But it's not theoretically impossible. Like we could go on a mad run now and we'd get Europe, but it's not going to happen. We've still got a long way to go.
Yeah, you're potentially 12 points away from European football.
Well, yeah.
Don't forget though. I haven't told you. Are you guys aware of Europa League Conference or Euro Cup 2, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? So I watched the whole thing on it, and it's weird. It's a money grab basically, but they're changing the entirety of European football for this. So like they've removed the third place in the group for Champions League doesn't go straight to Europa League. They have a playoff with whoever finishes top of the group in Europa League for another tournament, like to go into another Europa League tournament. And then they've got a conference, like the third tier, which is like where cup winners go or like 7th or 8th place go, which is like weird. It's cool for more European football and stuff, but it makes it more competitive for the league. So, there's another place to fight for now, and there's other people might actually take Carabao. I think it's Carabao Cup winners go.
Yeah.
One of the two.
But
Either way, you take it a bit more serious now because I feel like a lot of clubs didn't really take Carabao Cup very serious.
It's a Mickey Mouse
Tottenham
Cup.
ever won a trophy. It is. Apart from Tottenham. Did you hear the stat that last time Tottenham won either a trophy or the FA Cup trophy in particular, last time they won it, between the time they won it and now, Arteta, trained as a footballer, started at La Masia, did his whole career, won the FA Cup twice with Arsenal, retired, became the manager, and won it with Arsenal. And then Palace haven't won anything. So, Tottenham might take it a bit seriously because they're a banter club.
Yeah. But going back to the Wolves game, there's one very particular bit in the game, and it links into what was said last podcast because I did listen. I was listening. The absolutely shambolic refereeing, and
I'm telling you, it's terrible. I'm telling you, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. it's getting worse, bro.
I don't.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into whether it was a penalty or it wasn't a penalty. My point is if one was a penalty, the other was, and if the,
both.
like,
I get that. Yeah.
I don't know whether it was or wasn't. I don't understand the rules enough, but both of them were pretty much the same type of. Well, both of them hit the arm. So if one was, the other was, and then if it isn't, then the other one isn't. You can't.
I'd be fuming.
And it's the same game. It's not even like it's different officials, like different officials from different games. But.
To be honest, like like you said, in terms of whether either of them should or shouldn't have been a penalty, like at this point, like the debate feels so meaningless and pointless. Like,
my phone's about to fall over.
What are you doing?
So
I just see your nose.
Sorry. Anyway, carry on.
Sorry, carry on.
So I'm trying to talk here, and you was just knocked the camera over.
It was falling over. It was about to fall on top of me.
So
go on. Finish your
yeah, the debate feels so meaningless around whether like something was or wasn't a handball because nobody actually knows. No one has any idea. So, but I agree that like consistency is so poor. Like if one's a penalty, the other one probably should be a penalty, and if one's not a penalty, the other one shouldn't have been a penalty. So yeah,
and it's worse, and it's so bait when it's in the same game.
Well, that's the thing.
Because we've had it on the same day, like when you had Gabriel and I think it was or Lindelof in 2 separate games on the same day when it was like this is the same thing, but this is literally like 40 minutes apart.
It's the same officials.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's baffling. It's the exact same people, so they'd have the same opinion.
It's the same people. It's not just same VAR people like when it's on the same day. Same ref, same linesman, same third official, same fourth official. It's like sort it out. It's ridiculous. And when nobody knows, nobody honestly, you can't get all the referees in one room and say, all right, you tell me what the handball rule is, because they'll all give you different opinions. It's subjective, and that's what ruins the rule, because when it's subjective, then it's not really a rule. It's not from the rule book. It's just, do I think it's a penalty?
Yeah.
It's just...
Nah, not today.
I actually think I thought halfway through this season we were getting to a good place where like the rule, like the refereeing was getting to a decent place, everything was consistent, and it's just gone downhill again. It's like we've almost peaked and then gone back down. It doesn't make any sense, half of these decisions anymore.
And when you watch like Serie A, you see how consistent they are compared to like here. Like they always go to the board, they make their own decisions. They have like it feels like they have a set rule where they know exactly what happens, who gets a card, if it's a penalty or not. There's never any sort of dispute. Like it's almost like as a fan, you know what's going to happen, rather than thinking, are they going to give him a yellow card for that when they really should? Like
the other thing is that the fact that I bet you 6 months ago I'd argue a point and I'd argue the complete opposite in about 6 months later after I've said that, just because of how much the rules have changed. Like you just don't know what's going on half the time. You end up contradicting yourself.
The main problem is it leaves fans completely in the dark about what is actually going on. Like it should be open, it should be clear, it should be transparent. Everybody should understand how the game works, how the fouls work, what the rules are, and nobody does. Not even the refs understand. So it's a big problem.
At this point, I know more of the NFL rules than football rules, and then when they watch one game, that shows.
I mean, like almost a part segue, but Leicester, Liverpool, Maddison came out on his post-match interview, and he turned around and went, I didn't know whether it was a penalty, because there was loads of VAR stuff. Thankfully, they got it right in the end, I think. But he turned around and said in the interview, I don't even think the referee knew what he was doing, so we were just completely lost.
Yeah.
So at that point,
shame,
you're like...
that game, I mean... Go on. You might as well finish.
I mean, if the referee doesn't know what he's doing, how the heck does everyone else know what they're doing? Like, it's genuinely just shambolic at the minute. So
speaking of knowing what they're doing, Edison, what on earth was he doing in that game?
Come on.
I can't believe people tried to blame Kabak on that, who didn't have a terrible... Oh, did I say Edison? I meant Allison. You know what I meant. Damn, that second was so good. Anyway, he doesn't know what he's doing. The fans don't know what he's doing. Kabak doesn't know what he's doing. Kabak blinked and Allison was above him.
Yeah.
Like, you looked up. He's flying over his head.
It's a raven.
Honestly, I felt so bad for him. Yeah. That was his first game as well for Liverpool, and he's basically...
Yeah, I feel sorry for him because he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and people slated him. He didn't do anything wrong, but people still slated him, which I think was unfair.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's poor. They went ahead, and honestly, I thought when Liverpool went ahead that they were just going to run away with it. and Leicester they kept fighting. And you have to rate Leicester because not many clubs, keep going and keep pushing and keep fighting after losing 1-0 down, especially to a club like Liverpool, like last year's champions. You don't think you're going to get a result a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Leicester obviously knew what they're doing, they kept their shape. And Vardy is just world class, isn't he? So,
I mean,
what can you say?
It's worrying that I've been, because obviously this whole Euros is coming up, looking at right backs and stuff, because it's really, really close with who's going to be there. I've been keeping quite a close eye on Trent. And if the last couple of games, a lot of Liverpool's conceding goals have came from his side of the pitch.
They're all focusing on him now. You can't deny that. I think a lot of clubs are just like, we're going to focus on that.
I think
our left, their right.
To be fair, like when clubs start to like pinpoint like that one area, like Trent Alexander-Arnold, and say we're going to focus all our attacks down this area, then obviously stuff's going to come from that. So like it kind of biases that, I think, in like making Alexander-Arnold look worse than he is defensively. But obviously there's a reason they're targeting him.
But there's a gap.
Probably part of that is that Leicester's right winger is Jose Perez, so they can't attack down that side. So they're going to attack with Harvey Barnes on the left. But yeah, he more and more he's getting exposed, and that's partly going to be to do with the fact that he hasn't got Virgil van Dijk next to him, which is a big issue. But yeah, I think at this point Alexander-Arnold isn't the starter for England at the Euros.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't.
Would have been James Justin if he didn't get his ACL, which I feel so bad for him.
Big shame.
He's done his he's out for like at least 7 months, probably 9, and I mean that's done him now, because he probably would have been in contention for the Euros just because he can play both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been the starting right back.
No,
but he's got plenty.
He would have got plenty of
injury to like Luke Shaw
minutes, I think. But it does open up a space potentially for someone like Matty Cash, who's been really good for Villa. So
yeah, he's been pretty good this season as well. Yeah,
there's so much depth that
Saka?
Although, I mean, even though James Justin now is probably not going to make the Euros, it's not a big worry for England because we have so much depth in that position.
Yeah. I mean, not being funny, you've got
fullbacks aren't our problem.
I mean, right back wise, you've probably got the four. Well, I wouldn't say world class, but top class right backs. You've got Trippier, Walker, Trent to some extent. I mean, when he's attacking, he's lethal. Reece James is becoming a very, very good right back. And there's other people that can play in that position as well. It's just Lamptey. When he wasn't injured, it's such a congested area. But back to the Liverpool game. I have got to a point now where Liverpool fans can't go, oh yeah, we've had loads of injuries, because they're just not scoring enough to win a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your attack is still there. What more do you want? Like,
they still got the same attackers last season. Still the same attackers last season that were outscoring everybody and doing a madness. So you have to wonder what something else is happening. Is it the fullbacks not being able to provide, because you had a lot coming from the fullbacks.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I think the fullbacks had the most assists like combined.
Oh yeah.
Maybe like
the main
midfield.
Alexander-Arnold was always like the main creative force in that team, and usually in most teams the midfield is like your main creative force, but like Liverpool's midfield is very workmanlike, and it's just about keeping possession and holding on to the ball and then giving it to people who can really make things happen. Yeah, but at the same time, like now having to play Fabinho and Henderson in centre back, like they've lost 2 of the most crucial midfielders, and that's going to have a big effect on the whole balance of the team. They've got Thiago coming in, who hasn't played much with the team. He hasn't been great so far, to be honest. And it's I think more than actually losing the centre backs, it's the fact that they've lost so many midfielders to play in centre back that has really unstabilised the team and probably had an effect on their attack.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, but when you mention the likes of Salah, Mane, Firmino, when you say that they're world-class attackers should be able to score a goal from pretty much anything. They should be able to create. I mean, I'm going to be biased here, but Eden Hazard, he should be what Eden Hazard did is what Mo Salah should be able to do. pick up the ball, drive at someone, and score and make from anything. It shouldn't have to be passed to a specific place. He should be able to pick up the ball and just drive. Same with Mane. Firmino should be able to link it up with them. That front three.
Yeah, but sometimes he does that. He has done that this season. It's not like he hasn't done it before or this season, or he's done it, but you can only do that so much. Do you know what I mean? Like I understand your point, but when you're 2 goals down, you can't be just expecting your strikers and wingers just.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it alone. Like it's a team game, and there's
I think it's that idea of like relying on 1 or 2 players to carry the attack. Like it's not going to work. It's not a viable strategy in the long term. You can't
but it's
consistently rely on Salah to create something out of nothing every single time, because he has done that plenty of times, but he can't do it every single time. And eventually they're going to start not scoring goals.
And deep, that's like a Messi-esque thing, isn't it?
They went 2-1 down. I mean, Leicester scored their first goal in the 76th minute?
It's probably like
or something like that. So at that point, Liverpool should have been able to kill that game off before the 76th minute with how lethal their attack is. Like that game should have almost maybe not be killed off, but they should be 2-0 up at least at that point with the strike first they have and how many opportunities they had. But they just everything's like, oh, our centre backs aren't here. Oh, we're not going to do that well. Well, don't give up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fighting for top 4. I mean, as a happy Chelsea fan,
at this point, they are only fighting for top 4.
I mean, as a Chelsea fan, this is great because by Monday, fingers crossed, we beat Newcastle. We go above Liverpool.
Yeah, no, I don't like to see you guys winning that. And I was hoping we'd pip you, but.
And not being funny, we say we go into top 4, but there's, I think Everton, is it? I've got it here. Everton have got 2 games in hand, and they are only 2 points behind Chelsea. So if we're going into top 4 there, Everton will leapfrog us with that. So that puts Liverpool at least into 6th. West Ham have got a game in hand and could leapfrog Liverpool. That puts them in 7th.
Mad, don't lie.
No, it does.
For real?
Genuinely does. Like, so Liverpool are on 24 games, got 40 points. Chelsea 23-39. So if we win that game, we go above them. West Ham 23 games, 39 points. Win that game, they go above them. Everton 21.
Liverpool they've lost the league now, haven't they? Really, they've conceded.
Oh yeah, they're not winning it, but they are in such a difficult fight for. For top 4. I mean, top 6
if that
could
team
be difficult.
Doesn't get Champions League. If that team doesn't get Champions League, I don't know. The amount of money they have is just.
In fact,
it's crazy.
I mean, I might be going a bit far, but Villa will go above them with their games in hand. Spurs with their game in hand are 1 point behind them, and bear in mind Spurs are in 9th.
Spurs aren't going to win that game in hand though. Who have they got?
I don't know. It's whoever they play. I don't know where they play, but. I mean, if all these teams win, I'm not saying they will win because they're obviously going to be difficult games, but Liverpool are in a situation with what they've played so far and everyone winning up to their games. They're in 9th position.
I think we'll see a lot of drama towards the end of the season. I think people forget there's been a lot of cancelled matches because obviously the current events. So towards the end of the season when we start catching up, we'll start to see drama, which I think will be really fun. So, these games in hand will probably last quite a while before we actually see them, stack up normally. So, nobody really knows how the league is looking right now because of this situation. But it's exciting. I do feel bad for Liverpool, but at the same time, I kind of don't, I don't like the fans. That's one less club to worry about. Hopefully, I don't think we've had a reverse fixture yet against them. I know we played at Anfield, but I don't think we played them at the Emirates yet. So I'm hoping we can get one over at them because we're in decent form. I think we're in. We know we lost 2 games on the bounce, which we shouldn't have lost. But
it's pretty good form.
We
that
haven't
is
been in terrible form. Yeah, but before that, first of all, that game was basically rigged, and second of all, we basically, we're doing all right this year in terms of this year. So, I believe the win against some of these bigger teams. We've got Man City, we've got Tottenham in the next 4 or 5 games.
Have you got us as well in that? I'm pretty sure we play you in 2 games' time.
Maybe. I can't remember. But either way, I don't think we're going to beat City. I think it'll be difficult if we get. I think I'll be happy to get a point out of City, to be honest.
I think anyone would.
On current form, I would say you should be hoping to win the North London derby because
Yes,
Spurs have been
100%.
pretty terrible lately. They were embarrassing against Man City.
Well, embarrassing against us the first half. They didn't do anything.
Yeah,
They just sat back and just watched us pass a ball around.
Yeah.
We were in poor form against the Tottenham. That was the middle of our like losing streak, and I think now we want to get revenge, and we've got the creativity. Davinson Sanchez was dire. Oh, I don't think you understand how many times I've rewatched.
He just face plants.
By Gundogan, who was so good. The guy didn't even use his arms. He just went to sleep. Night.
It's just the way he face plants. Like,
do you know what? Gundogan is the one player that I'm worried about. I really hope that Partey is back in time because Partey's injured again. But if we need to deal with that midfield, if we don't deal, that is the deadliest part of the pitch. That's where everything comes from. You've got De Bruyne, Gundogan, Foden. All three of them are absolutely mad. Unless Foden's playing on the wing, but all three of them are crazy, and we have to control it. And we need Partey. We need Prime Xhaka back because he's had some mad games recently against big teams as well, where he just controls the midfield. Against Wolves, not so hard because you basically didn't have a midfield when we played you. But against some other clubs, he's just been like crazy. So if we have those two in like a pivot and we win the midfield, then it's not silly to think we could get a point. Maybe win, but probably not. That game against, can we just talk about that for like 2 seconds because I thought it'd be a bit closer. I want to talk to you obviously, but I was embarrassed. Man City, ever since we doubted them, I think at like the start of the season, we were like,
well, yeah,
we put them to win. I think we all put Man City to win the league. I think maybe one of you put Liverpool.
I think I put Liverpool.
I put City.
Yeah, I put City as well. Sorry, Sam. The master himself has been outsmarted by the less expert.
Just to put it out there, I said at the start, I said Liverpool would have a massive drop off this season.
Did you?
Yeah, I said they wouldn't want the drive. They wouldn't have the drive to go and win things. I mean, it's not quite why they're not winning things, but we'll go with it.
Basically, yeah. But like ever since we all doubted them, it's almost like they heard us. They're like, "What did you say? Do you know who I am? I'm Pep Guardiola." And then he just, even with the injuries he's had no De Bruyne recently. No, he hasn't had a striker. He's been playing like
all season pretty much.
Yeah, he had no Aguero most of the season. Gabriel Jesus just had been in and out of the injury table. He's had people, so he's basically had like false nines, almost like what he did with Messi at Barca.
Yeah.
He had De Bruyne playing a false nine and he killed it. That's like with Foden.
Yeah, but it's such a dangerous position that De Bruyne played in. You wouldn't think it would work
he
because
sits perfectly between both defensive lines.
Yeah.
Like he knows how to sit between midfield and the defensive line where like they can't come to him, otherwise they're going to create a massive gap for the wingers to run into.
And you can't drop too far back to get to him as midfield, otherwise you leave it so they can pass it around. Yeah,
exactly. It's just so, having someone that smart about football in your midfield is just like, I never appreciated how good this done was. I originally, like 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, he's cool on FIFA. But like now I watch him, I understand why he's like 92 rated, because this guy is crazy.
Yeah, he's mental.
You know what I mean?
It's his just the ability to find space to go sit in and occupy, and to find people in space to pass the ball. He likes to drift onto that right hand side to score
Doesn't
goals.
help that he can absolutely ping it as well.
Yeah,
like, his passing is mad.
He is just ridiculous. He can find space out of nothing.
Enough loving on De Bruyne. But, go on.
Just he's obviously, you said he's been out injured, and recently it's been Gundogan that they've really been relying on, and Pep's kind of really shown his genius once again by transforming him into goal scoring midfielder. Like, he's had by far and away the best goal scoring season of his career.
Yeah, he's the top goal scorer this year.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Academic year, not season. Not academic. Sorry, calendar year.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, where do you think Gundogan ranks in terms of player of the year, player of the season reckoning?
He seems like a really underrated player because he hasn't been doing it for very long.
I'm gonna say it's just his jam.
He didn't have. Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't start off the season amazingly. Like, he wasn't like, oh my god, look at this Gundogan kid. Like, since January, maybe like December, he came out and was like, I'm the big man. But in terms of like other people to contend, I think Phil Foden is maybe above him.
I mean, I think the guy this year is got to be Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah,
the amount of situation. I mean, they drew today, but Bruno Fernandes essentially got him a point at least, which all counts.
Yeah, but
every point counts. So
you gotta look at where they are as well in the table. They've kind of dropped off recently. They're losing games that they shouldn't be.
I mean, they're still second.
I think in terms of who I think will
to
win
West
it,
Brom.
Yeah.
How do you draw to West Brom? Sorry,
but
Sam.
Bruno still did score an absolute screamer in that game. So
he did, yeah. But
not
Maguire's terrible.
Well, yeah. We all know.
If I had a donkey like Maguire behind me and I was Bruno Fernandes doing little screamers like that on the regular and just acting like it was nothing, and then Maguire does a disaster class again and hits the post in the last minute, I think I'd just scream at him.
He probably does. I think Fernandes is the type of person to just have a go at people and not have a go, be that leader essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, Ziyech did it with Werner when he missed a sitter, and then eventually Giroud managed to score it in the Rennes game. It literally just turned around to Werner and went, "You've got to be scoring that," and it's having that expectation on other people. Gerrard was like it. There's been interviews where Crouch turned around and said, "Oh, if Gerrard pinged a ball into me and I didn't control it properly and I didn't score from it or something like that, he'd tell me and he'd be on me." And that's what improves players, because you think, "Oh, this ball's coming into me. I've got to be on top of my game here and try and score. Otherwise, I'm going to be shouted at," type thing.
Yeah.
So I think Bruno Fernandes could quite possibly be like that.
I mean, the big thing was getting another centre back in, wasn't it? There was the whole Upamecano thing. He's gone to Bayern now.
Yeah.
I was a bit upset about, but let's be honest, we Arsenal wanted him before it was cool. Like Arsenal were like after him 2 seasons ago. I just want to put that in. Like, obviously we have good scouts. We know about him. We knew about him for time. But it's been confirmed now that he's going to Bayern at the end of the season.
He ain't coming to the Prem, is he?
He's not going to the Prem now.
Ever?
I don't think he ever will now, because Bayern just. When was the last time you saw Bayern sell a peak player? They never do.
Yeah.
Have they ever sold? I can't think of a peak player who's in their prime right now.
I would say maybe Tony Kroos, but like he didn't go to the Prem. Went to Real.
Did he go for?
So.
Oh yeah.
That's
Real Madrid.
I
spent money.
According to Chelsea scouts, they had a bit of reservation on Upamecano. They didn't quite think.
Understandable. He's been a bit shaky in the Bundesliga, and I feel like he'd have to take time to develop in the Prem, because I mean he had who's that Don next to him?
Konate?
Leipzig.
Konate?
Yeah. Konate is a good centre back as well. People don't really rate him, but he's a quality centre back. You could argue that he's actually one of the star men.
I mean, Liverpool and Chelsea are looking at him for.
I'd have Konate
for their centre backs, because obviously he was Liverpool, Chelsea, and Bayern going in for Upamecano.
Now that he's gone.
We're now looking at Varane, Alaba, Konate, and Guehi. I don't actually know how to say his name properly. He's one of our youth that's on loan at Swansea.
To bring him in, you wanted to bring him in
to actually play him, because from people have been saying that he's been one of the best centre backs in the Championship this season. And the Championship isn't like what it used to be. It is almost like a mini Premier League now.
It's a hard league.
If you see a young player doing really well in the Championship, there's a very good chance that they can step up and do it in the Prem.
I mean,
so many times. Like
the best
Maddison,
example is the Chelsea players.
My star boy.
Tamori, Mount, exactly.
Yeah.
Reece James, Tammy Abraham.
It's a really good transition. It's helpful now for young players to do it. So I do rate them.
Well, it's aggressive as well. It's just as aggressive as the Premier League.
That's what it is. That's what's different to the Premier League from like France, Italy, Spain, is the aggression. And if you can hack it in the Championship, then I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I suppose. I wonder whether I haven't watched many Championship games, but seeing FA Cups and stuff, they seem even more aggressive and really go for you.
Yeah. You can tell some of them are good enough to be in the Prem. Like if you had Brentford take on some of these, like if Brentford took on Sheffield United, they're gonna win that game. Like Sheffield United are basically a Championship team at this point. And
there's Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Like Norwich. I think a lot of people wrote off Bournemouth when they got relegated and said, "Oh, they're gonna kind of fall back into obscurity." But they've been challenging right at the top again this season. They had a drop off recently. They sacked their manager, but they're still in the playoff spots. And Swansea are up there after they could be seeing Swansea return to the Prem. Like you said, you and your boy Guehi has been doing really, really well. Norwich have looked at times like they're far too good for the Championship. They certainly have players who are far too good for the Championship. How Buendia is still there.
How do they keep
I
him?
have no idea. Cantwell as well.
Yeah.
He's back to racking up goals.
Well, Max, is Max Aarons still down
Max
there?
Aarons, yeah.
Well, that's one of the transfer targets that Bayern are looking to go for.
Again, didn't they try to go for him last season as well?
Yeah, they got they ended up with Odriozola in on loan.
So but is Max Aarons a right back or a left back?
He's a right back.
Right.
Okay, I thought
Jamal
he was a
Lewis
left
was
back.
the left back, and he went to Newcastle.
I was gonna say, why would they try and sign another left back when they've got Alphonso Davies? Like, doesn't sound like a smart move.
I think that's how well they get one though, because they've got Alphonso Davis and then Aliba's leaving. Who's their secondary left back now? I don't know any of those.
Yeah, but as a youngster that's playing constant football in the Championship, I don't know about going to Bayern against another young left back that's got many years to be starting ahead of you.
Alphonso, are you?
It's not like Alphonso Davies is 27. He's going to drop off, or that won't really be in his prime in the next couple of years, and you can kind of slowly filter in. It's like, no, Alphonso Davies is going to be there for a long time.
That's kind of what Alphonso Davies did, didn't he? Really, like he was trying to filter in between Alaba, and then he pushed Alaba out to centre.
Oh yeah, just they had injury issues. Fine, primarily injuries to the centre back. Alaba, they moved Alaba to centre back and decided to experiment with Alphonso Davies at left back. When previously he'd only ever been a winger. And he just exploded.
Good. I mean, you'll take it's kind of like Saka, isn't it? Like if you just take a role, just play anywhere, and then get people to know who you are, and then all of a sudden, this kid's actually mad.
I mean,
now you can play anywhere.
I'll tell you what's weird. Why is it? Or like, there's quite a lot of really, really good players that play for a nationality that don't have a really big, amazing team around them. I mean, you could say to some extent Ronaldo and Messi, like when they've played, they're not World Cup winning type, or haven't been in the past.
Yeah, but Ronaldo won the Euros.
Yeah, I mean, more recently they have been, and Portugal look like a very, very good team coming up, but they're not like a Germany or a Spain or England.
Are you saying Alfonso should pick his nationality? Just change it? Yeah?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
isn't it quite Ghana? So.
Yeah,
isn't it quite strange how the like really, really big youngsters are? There's quite a lot of people that are kind of from a smaller, not smaller. But,
where are you going?
I don't know.
Carry on. You'll get that.
It's like from a smaller nation in terms of football, like Canada.
I get what you're saying. Like Canada's never had a history of producing good players, and all of a sudden Alphonso Davies comes out of nowhere, and also like Jonathan David, Canada as well.
Canada looks. Don't sleep on Canada right now, because those two alone are going to kill it.
The thing is, interestingly, I think the 2026 World Cup is going to be. Canada are going to be there because it's USA, Canada, Mexico. Hosting the World Cup jointly in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, America's another one.
Oh yeah, I mean, America have loads of talent.
If you're hosting, do you still have to do the qualifying rounds?
No, automatic qualification.
Do you know what that means? Big Jamaica's going to qualify. You'd have to see it. Come on.
That's a good point.
My country.
Without Mexico, the USA, and Canada, none
Jamaica
of them
have
qualifying.
to.
Like
they are the fourth best team.
There's such a big opportunity there for like some random Central American countries to suddenly.
Usain Bolt's going to start playing football again.
Get Usain Bolt on the right wing, Leon Bailey on the left wing, Troy Deeney up front. He might be retired by then, but someone else. Imagine the scenes. Imagine the front, the pure pace, and then just get like a target man up front. Oh, I'm already dreaming, boys. I'm already dreaming. That'll be a good World Cup. I'm already excited now.
Yeah, but the England team is slowly and starting to look a bit better. I think we've got more problems with. We've almost got what Chelsea have had this season, not knowing what our best 11 is. Which is always.
I don't think we're far off knowing though. I mean, if you think about front three, if you think of like Kane has to go up front, the wingers. Okay, granted.
I mean, I think the midfield and right back and centre back's an issue, which is half the team. But you know,
to be fair, actually, I'm thinking about it in my head now.
Yeah.
I'm struggling between like Grealish or Foden.
Yeah, exactly. Like goalkeeper, who goes in goal? Like. I think England's best goalkeeper is Dean Henderson, but he's not playing at the moment. So can you justify him going?
This is the video right here. This is the podcast segment.
Centre backs other than John Stones, who looks nailed on now. You don't really know who's the best centre back. Maguire has good days. He has very bad days. Right back, no one has any idea. We have too many of them. Left back, maybe a bit more clearer. Ben Chilwell and
Sure,
Luke Shaw. Pretty much your only two. Midfield could be anything, and the attack, other than Kane, is obviously going to start up front in the attack, and then beyond that, you've got Sancho, you've got Sterling, you've got Rashford, you've got Foden, you've got Grealish. Like, who starts?
Yeah,
we've got a new batch of friendlies coming up soon, right?
March. International break be coming in March, I think.
We need to do a segment where we just do an 11 of our best England team.
I think, I want to do that.
It's the best English team.
The thing is, it's not a situation you want to be in going into a World Cup, really, not knowing your best 11.
That's the thing as well. You haven't got many games to figure out as well. You've only got 3 or 4 games for the Euros.
Do you? I mean, I don't know how big a squad can be. I don't know the exact number.
23.
Do you take almost 2 different styles of teams?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Or is that a dangerous game to play?
No,
playing 2 different styles.
Because then if one of them doesn't work out and even someone can't fit in another squad or something, like you play wing backs.
I mean, we've got a lot of utility
left
players.
back isn't going to work.
I mean, we've got a lot of utility players. We've got Reece James that can play midfield and right back. Saka. I mean, to some extent, Maitland-Niles can play in pretty much any position he wants, but not to an amazing standard.
How dare you? He's world class. He'd walk into Chelsea's team.
That's questionable. You've got our front three. I mean, Rashford can play anywhere along that front line.
Yeah,
I don't think Rashford's the best option though. I think there's better options than Rashford in every position.
But I mean, Foden can play in the middle on the right. I mean, it can not literally striker. Grealish. We've got so many interchanging players that can play in so many different positions.
Yeah.
So it'd be an interesting. I mean, Jordan Henderson, he can play in centre mid and defence at the minute now.
No, he can't. He's not a centre back.
He can attempt
He's
to.
Not
at
a
least.
centre back. He can try, but we have actual centre backs for England, believe it or not. So no,
not very good ones, but
honestly, I'd have next to Stones. I can't think of another centre back as better than Lewis Dunk. Honestly, I think Lewis Dunk is actually the best, one of the best English centre backs, and no one rates him.
He's the second best centre back in the league. We've said it on the podcast before.
He is. He honestly, get this guy in. He hasn't got an England cap yet, and he deserves one because he's been solid for years. Ever since Brody been promoted, he's been.
I would take him.
There.
I would take him over Maguire.
At this rate, I wouldn't be opposed to playing Stones and Kyle Walker at the back in the back 4, to be brutally honest with you.
Not in the back 4. You can't play Kyle Walker in the back 4.
Walker's been fine in the back 3, but I don't know about back 4.
No, you don't play. No, you put him in the back 3 and at the middle, so that he can, bomb up and play like a CDM. Wouldn't play him in back 4. It's like some of those play like David Luiz was in the back 4 centre back really, but we play him there.
Maybe England should just hire Chris Wilder. Get Kyle Walker as an overlapping centre back.
Overlapping centre back.
We'll win the World Cup.
That'd be the most Brexit
I
game.
honestly think
English tactic. Over the
thing is,
you've never seen that anywhere. You don't see that in the Magia training grounds or Juve. Like that's mad.
I mean, going off formations, one formation that I've never really seen or been done before is this Thomas Tuchel. It's kind of back 3/5 because the wing backs literally play as wingers.
They play as wide midfielders, don't they? They have to defend a little bit, but not really.
Which I think that could work quite well if you go for a back 3 in England. Our
most important thing about England is our fullbacks, though. Like if we didn't utilise the fact we have so many fullbacks. It's like we were literally in the golden age of fullbacks.
But you could quite easily play Luke Shaw left wing back, Reece James or Trent at right wing back, and they'd do a job there because they both can attack really well and they can get back.
I mean, what's the difference between doing that and just playing a normal back 5? Like the whole point is that they play midfield and not.
It's more attacking, isn't it? Like we struggle when we play a back 5, a flat back 5, pretty much is what we do. We struggle to create up top, whereas when you've got those playing as almost wingers, I mean, if you look at the stats for Hudson-Odoi when he was playing in that position, he was the highest person up on the pitch in front of Giroud and Werner and stuff. And then you can have those that the Kane is really close to Sterling and let's say Rashford or Sancho, and then they can play in those pockets. I think if we have to play a back 5, I think that's the way we should be playing. Well, I said back 5, back 3. but I'm not a fan of the back five the way Southgate plays it because we just
Does
don't
anyone
score.
actually like watching back five football? I mean, I know Wolves had interesting football when they did it, but like, it's not that fun.
For our first 2 seasons, for the most part, we were pretty decent to watch, to be honest. But this season,
Yeah, but it was only really decent when you had a counter attack. Other than that, it wasn't great.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Which means that, and we shouldn't be playing counter-attacking football with the players that we've got. We've got enough quality in the England squads to be dominating games.
Yeah, sure.
So it's essentially you'd be playing Jose Mourinho football instead of Nuno because it'd be more. You've got the players to attack, but you just sit back for the sake of sitting back.
Yeah.
I agree with
Which, as we've seen with Spurs, doesn't go well when you go 1-0 down because you now no longer know what to do.
Dead ballers. Swear, Dan. That's the thing with Jose football is like, you defend all you want, and then I feel like once they concede, they're like, we've just defended it all for no reason, so now I don't want to do it anymore. No, I'm not doing it. And they just throw a strap and then they concede 2 more. It's the Tottenham way. Poor game from them. I hope that we can get one over in the North and then Derby coming up.
They just get baffled. They go 1-0 down and go, why are we defending? We've conceded already. We should probably be attacking. But our manager's told us to defend, so let's just defend a bit more and see what happens.
I don't know what's changed them though, because it's not like they're not being told to attack, because they clearly are. I mean, when you looked at the start of the season and Kane and Son were playing like prime Messi and Ronaldo, like R9, like they were just killing it, getting like 4 assists a game between them. And all of a sudden now, like it's just Kane. Like they're still linking up, but they're not scoring enough anymore.
It's because people are starting to realise what type of runs Son is going to make.
Yeah, but even then, Son is the kind of quality player that even if you know what he's going to do, he still gets past you. I remember when he scored that screamer against us, and he got the Pushkas award at the end of the year when he did that run against Burnley. Like this guy knows how to run. No matter who, against some of the best defenders, it just doesn't seem to work for him.
Yeah, it's strange, but it could just be they're not enjoying the football they're playing. I mean, let's be brutally honest. Jose Mourinho football is not all Jose Mourinho football.
I don't even enjoy watching.
It's never been interesting. I mean, when he did it at Chelsea, it wasn't fun, but we were winning things. So who cares at that point? But when you're not winning with it, it's not fun to watch or play. Because you're just constantly having to defend, and defending is tiring. It's not something that you can keep on doing. It is a very, very tiring thing because you're running towards the ball instead of the ball moving.
Honestly, what I think as well is like, because they're out of pretty much every trophy, like they've kind of, maybe they'll probably Europa League, they just think, well, they've kind of lost interest in wanting to win things now because they're out of the Prem. They have been for a while. They're out of the Carabao Cup. They're out of the FA Cup, I think. Don't quote me on that one. They're literally the only trophy they can really go for now is Europa League, which is our trophy. So,
Here's a question for you both. At what point does Mourinho get sacked at Spurs?
He won't get that for a while
because
he's done good for them. Don't deny that. He's done good.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is Spurs. I mean, I didn't realise how long Poch was actually at Spurs for.
Yeah, it's like 5 years.
But
the thing is that like they sacked him so late after the glory, like Champions League final. It's not the first ever Champions League final, I think. And they sacked him like 6 months later.
It was more with Poch. It was more like the atmosphere around the club had become so toxic since that Champions League final. So it was kind of like something had to happen that was big. Otherwise, it was just going to get worse and worse.
Yeah. So it's and the same question goes for Nuno. I mean, he's having a good run of form, but what would it take for Nuno to get sacked?
No,
I'm not saying he's getting sacked. I'm not saying he's getting sacked.
I think it would take relegation, honestly, because Nuno's done so much for the club and they've built so much around him. Keep in mind, most of the club is Portuguese. Exactly. Most of the coaches are Portuguese. I wouldn't be surprised if half the staff, like dinner ladies, are all Portuguese and the cleaners are Portuguese. It's probably the Portuguese national team. And to sack the guy who connects that all together means you have to do an entire restructure again.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Like to sack Nuno would be such a massive culture shift in the club. Like it's not just getting rid of the manager. It is like absolutely changing everything about the way the club's been run for the past 3 years.
And it shows that they back Nuno a lot.
Yeah, and he has earned a bad run of form, and we've had a bad run of form, and now maybe we're turning things around. We still haven't played hugely well, but the results are improving, and I think everything in the end is going to be okay. And in the summer, if things continue to be a bit there, then there'll be improvements that we can make. And yeah, I still have full faith in Nuno, and I'm sure the board has full faith in Nuno, even if some fans went a bit, a bit anti-Nuno for a bit. But
every football fan is going to do that in that situation.
Yeah, it was bound to happen.
Unless you're a Chelsea fan with Lampard.
Yeah, but the board stuck by him, and the tides seem to have turned now.
Yeah,
I rate them for that.
But it's going to what Jacob said about it have to take relegation. Do you really want to be in a relegation fight with Wolves and sacking your manager?
You should never sack your manager in a relegation fight. I don't know why clubs do it. I remember Watford did it, where they sacked.
West Brom have.
Thingy. Yeah, well, no, it's a bit early for them. They've done it at a decent time, to be honest, because they've done it early enough where Big Sam could save them.
Yeah, either you do it early, like West Brom did, or you commit.
You have to power through, because if you have to do a whole shift in tactics, and no manager really, what manager's going to come in the last 6-7 games and save you from relegation? Like they're going to change tactics, they're going to change philosophy. Some players are going to get dropped. There might be some disgruntlement with players. These are 4 different things that are big to do with the club, and it takes time to do. You can't just do that in a week or two and just expect to stay in the league. I don't understand why clubs do it. It doesn't make any sense, and that's probably why Watford are where they are now.
If we were in a relegation battle, I would want Nuno at the club for the stability, and also because I would have the faith in him to turn it around. And if we didn't get relegated, I would want Nuno to manage us in the Championship, because I think he'd get us promoted again. The question, obviously, in that situation is, would Nuno stay, and would most of the players stay? And the answer is probably not.
No.
Yeah.
I would want him to stay.
So fast forward to this summer. What changes, or what people does Nuno need, or type of people does Nuno need to bring in to fix this squad? Because there is a clear issue.
I think I actually don't think the fullbacks is that big an issue, because Johnny is now back and looks like Johnny did when he was injured. And
when he was injured, what is he hobbling?
Before he got when he's reliable, he's solid defensively. He contributes in the build-up play well. I love Johnny. And then Semedo, he's still obviously got his defensive frailties, but Matt Doherty had plenty of defensive frailties, and we got by fine with him. And I think talent-wise and everything, Semedo's clearly a much better player. He's a brilliant dribbler, and he's not actually that bad defensively. In terms of defensive action and stuff, he's top of the squad for tackles and interceptions. So he contributes a lot, and he did have a pretty shaky start to the season, but he's improved a lot. He's been one of our best players in this kind of bad run of form. I think if we want to take a big step forward, then there needs to be an upgrade at centre back. Because
midfield as well.
I was going to say, I thought it'd be midfield, because
midfield's someone we need to look at as well. But firstly, centre back. I think we don't have a centre back who I would say this guy is a brilliant centre back, and I want someone who I can say, this, we can rely on this guy week in, week out to just be this solid presence at the back. And previously, we could say that about Willy Bolly, but he's been shaky this season. Cody's had, particularly in this run of form, he's had a drop off in form. He's been a bit shaky. Kilman looks good, but it's time will tell with Kilman.
Yeah, so I suppose
he's still very inexperienced.
I suppose when you're looking at centre backs, I assume you look for a back 4 centre back instead of a back 3 or back 5.
Yeah, exactly. Because I still think the long term vision is to move to a back 4, because that's the way that Nuno thinks that we will push to the next level, is with a back 4 rather than the back 5. And I've got to say I agree. So yeah, we need someone who's very comfortable in that system rather than just in a back 3. And then in midfield, we definitely need some more legs in midfield. Martinez's getting old. He's still got that kind of that class and that technical ability on the ball, but he's not able to get around the pitch like he used to, and it means we struggle a lot to control the midfield and to dominate games.
I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not great when it comes to analytics and stuff like that and tactics, but I presume that the midfield are the ones that almost start the press because you pushed your attackers forward to make sure that they can press that. There's not a gap, which your team don't do at all. You just go, have the ball.
In terms of pressing, the midfield is the most important part. They need to be organised. They need to know the structure, and they need to be able to do the running. And Neves has never been much of a runner. He does contribute pretty effectively defensively because his reading of the game is really good. But you need someone in there who can do a lot of running, and Moutinho is not that guy anymore. So, certainly I think a midfield signing, a proper box-to-box midfielder. I'd love to see someone like Renato Sanchez. I think he'd do absolutely brilliant. And potentially a realistic signing as well. I think in terms of the forward line, there's not actually that much work that needs to be done. We've got Raul Jimenez when he comes back. We'll have Willian Jose, Neto, Podence, Adama. There's plenty of depth there and ability. So it's just, I think a midfielder and a centre-back is the crucial areas that we need to look at in the summer.
So, well, on the topic of that, I think that's it.
Look for a segue there. I couldn't find one. Could you?
Yeah, I was going to go, well, that's the summer. It's going to end. I just thought, sod it. We're going to end it like
Unlucky, bro.
Thank you guys for watching. Links will be down below with Spotify, iTunes, Instagram,
Get on that.
Twitter, TikTok.
We're global now. We're gargantuan. We aren't small YouTube channel now. We're astronomical. All right.
Yeah. Also,
find us everywhere.
Yeah. But also hit that subscribe button. We want to get a bit more subscribers. It'd be nice. Always is.
Let's hit 100. 2021, 2022.
Yeah. Let's hit 100. Otherwise, we finished. We stop.
Yeah, we quit. Sorry, we don't want you anymore.
Well, not that far, but Anyway, cheers, guys, for watching.
Bye.